Yo guys, what's poppin'? It's your boy Tacho here, and we're back for some more Fire Emblem Heroes. Okay, so pretty awesome today for all the Fate Pass owners out there. We got the Resplendent Caeda, and she's definitely going to be one of the better Resplendent Heroes as far as merge projects are concerned. I've had my Caeda at plus 10 for ages now, and it's going to be really nice to have some bonus stats on her. I typically run her in arena mode on certain seasons because I have red dual flyers on her and that helps her score a little bit better. I like to use her with guidance so she can help out my armored units and let them move a lot better. But now that she's going to have a bonus +2 in every stat, I think I'm probably going to be able to get some fighting mileage out of her now, which is pretty good. So real quick before we start talking about builds and the skills you want to give to this Caeda, let's just talk about her artwork for a sec. So I love the curtsy that she's doing. It makes her look really cute and really polite, like what they did with the Julia. So I appreciate that much. And the pink scarf too, I think is a really nice touch. It makes her kind of look like Daphne from Scooby-Doo. Shoutouts to anyone who likes Scooby-Doo in 2020. I don't even know. Do they still make Scooby-Doo episodes? I feel like they do. Because, like, that show just never died. It just continues on and on. They always make new, different series and so on and so forth. I remember they had a pup named Scooby-Doo. I used to like that one. Alright, but I just went off on a pretty big tangent there, so I apologize, guys. Let me know in the comments section what you guys think of the new artwork for Caeda. Overall, I'm pretty happy with it. I think it's good. Not necessarily that she needed an artwork fix, because of course her original artwork is also pretty good. I wish they would do some more Resplendent Heroes that could actually use the art fix, like Gwendolyn and Rebecca and so on. So hopefully they get on that at some point. But anyways, let's go ahead and talk about the adorable Caeda now. So her base kit is Armor Slayer Plus, Rally Speed, Darting Blow 3, and Fortify Flyers. Honestly, a pretty solid base kit. Armor Slayer, of course, effective against armors is very good. Darting Blow 3, just going to give her some more speed when she initiates combat. And Fortify Flyers is a pretty solid support buff if you're going to run her on a Flyer Emblem team. Nowadays, though, we're pretty much going to replace all of this stuff because we have better things. And she did get a very sick refine in Winged Sword. What it does is it's going to give her effective against armor and effective against cavalry. And it also has a built-in Flashing Blade effect, which is rad. I'm not sure why Flashing Blade, the skill, is not inheritable on flying units. They can't use the Sacred Seal either. But yet they can use Heavy Blade, which doesn't make any sense to me. So I don't know what the difference is between Flashing Blade and Heavy Blade. But regardless, Caeda is one of those few flying units that can actually have Flashing Blade. And for recommended IVs, I'm going to say go for plus attack. She has a very bad 25 base attack, which you're definitely going to want to try to fix. So having the super boon in attack with her, I think, is pretty much a no-brainer. But plus speed, of course, could be a good option too if you just want to capitalize on the Flashing Blade effect her weapon gets. Gonna be your call on that one, but I've been using Caeda for a while, and plus attack has served me well, so that's what I'm going to recommend. And for the budget build on her, we're going to be running Winged Sword with the refine, of course. And I remember this being one of the refines that really wowed me when I first saw it, because this was, of course, one of the earlier refines that we got. So it's pretty cool that it can still hold up and hang with the best of them. Reposition, of course, because flying units are really good with reposition. Because she has cooldown count ramping on her weapon, we can run Gale Force or Aether. Two very high-cost specials that she can make pretty strong use of. And the rest of the build is basically just the classic budget build for any offensive unit. We have Fury 3, Desperation, and Brazen Attack and Speed. So just take a bunch of chip with Fury, and then all of a sudden you can hit the foes twice in a row with Desperation. And you're gaining a ton of attack and speed from Brazen Attack and Speed. The build just speaks for itself. A little bit boring though, because this is typically the build that we run on every budget offensive unit. We need to start getting some better offensive skills for budget units. I don't know when they're going to get on that, but honestly, at this point, I'll take anything that can change up the way we make these budget builds. So hopefully that happens soon. Fortify Flyers is her default skill for the sea, but you're free to run whatever you want, like Ward Flyers or Gold Flyers. Hone Flyers is free to play if you want to spend some heroic grails on... I can't even remember who came with it. I think it was the Bath Time Camilla. I could be wrong about that though. Or if you still have your free copies of her, then you could just give her Hone Flyers that way. It doesn't matter really which flyer support skill you want to give her. Just go ahead and pick your favorite for the most part. And if you really want to invest in Caeda, here is a higher budget version of the build we just looked at. So what's really awesome about Caeda is that her stat line is very interesting and it allows her to make very good use of all of the flyer exclusive skills. So Dive Bomb and Speed and Defense Rain are going to be very strong on her. Dive Bomb lets her get the instant desperation effect, so you don't have to worry about lowering her health. But you do have to be careful that the foes are also above 80% health. Speed and Defense Rain is just a no-brainer. It's going to allow her to double attack easier and also help Wing Sword get the speed check a lot better. And lowering the foe's defense is going to let her hit the foes harder as well. So Speed and Defense Rain, definitely one of the better users of that. And we've doubled up on Swift Sparrow, so we have it in the A slot and the Sacred Seal slot. Mainly Swift Sparrow because we don't want to take any chip and end up losing Dive Bomb's HP requirement. But you could also go for Attack and Speed Solo 4 as well, if you'd prefer. Just stay away from Attack and Speed Push 4 on this one, though, because that minus 5 HP is really not going to be doing this build any favors. And the final build for Caeda that I have today is going to be an enemy phase build. Now, what's really awesome about this build is that we finally get to use Distant Ward and Pegasus Flight on a unit, and they're not going to be a meme on this build. So I think that's rad. Pegasus Flight, the amount of units that can really use this skill are, like, I can count them on the fingers on one hand, so Caeda being one of those is definitely a good thing. So the reason why Distant Ward over Distant Counter on this build is because, of course, Caeda's a flying unit, so both types are going to have effective damage on her, meaning you're not really going to want to try to bait them with her. I mean, of course, you could give her the Iote Shield Sacred Seal and do it that way, but it's not going to be very efficient because, of course, the Sacred Seal, you'd rather have that be something else that can give you some stat bonuses. So Distant Ward pairs very nicely with Caeda's very good res stat. The one that I'm showing here only has one merge on her, and she's already at 37 res, which is nuts. So you can stack her res pretty high, and Distant Ward is just going to help with that. So you want to stick to baiting mages and staff units with her. And then we move on to Pegasus Flight, which is going to do a speed check on the foes first. So Caeda just needs to have more speed than the foes do, and it's going to calculate the foe's speed as being -7. So she does get a leg up on them in speed with this skill. But the main reason why it's awkward is because it also does a res check right after that. And essentially, Caeda needs to have 14 more res than the foes to get the full effect of Pegasus Flight off, where it's going to inflict -7 attack and defense on the enemy. And there's not really a lot of flying units that have good speed and good res to make use of this. So it's awkward using Pegasus Flight. But on this build, we can actually get away with it. So we've got Attack and Speed Rain 3 and Speed and Res Solo as the Seal and the C-Slot passive. And they're like the perfect skills to combo with Pegasus Flight, because they're only going to help her out more on the stat checks and give her a better chance to actually have that 14 more res than the foes and more speed than the foes. So pretty good stuff there. I was thinking maybe you could do Attack and Res Rain 3 instead, just to make it easier to have 14 more res than the enemy with Pegasus Flight. But that's still a little bit of a meme, because lowering the foe's res outside of Pegasus Flight doesn't really do anything for Caeda in combat. Of course, her attacks are going to target defense, so she doesn't gain much out of lowering their res. So I think Attack and Speed Rain is probably your best bet. The speed drop is also going to help her tank better, because the foes have less of a chance to double attack her. And Speed and Res Solo for the Seal, that's absolutely what we're going for. Both of those stats are going to be checked in Pegasus Flight. And not needing to run that trashy Phantom Res Seal to help Pegasus Flight is definitely going to be better to go with this one. And that just about covers us for the builds for Resplendent Caeda. Very awesome unit, and I'm very glad that she was able to get some stat bonuses from that Resplendent ult. And it looks like our next Resplendent hero is going to be Marth. So I guess it's pretty interesting that they decided to follow up Caeda with Marth. But I feel like they did this guy kind of dirty with his art, because they just made him look like really cute for some reason. He does not look like a threat whatsoever. Like, if I was on the front lines and I had to fight Marth and he was looking like that, I'd be thinking, okay, this is going to be a walk in the park. I am not in the least bit threatened by him. So I don't know how I feel about that. They could have at least tried to make him more intimidating. But they did the same thing with the Resplendent Roy as well. So I don't know, man. Let me know in the comments section what you guys think about Marth's artwork. But that just about wraps us up for today's video. And a quick apology for the lack of videos lately, but I've just been super busy this week and I didn't really have much of a chance to record. But I just want to thank everybody for watching the video and supporting the channel like you guys always do, because I really appreciate that and it means a lot to me. So that's all for today. This is your boy Tacho signing out. Take care, everybody, and I will catch you guys again in the next one.